Great. So let's start today's demo. All right. So welcome everyone to No Wallet Demo 9th. Today is March 25th, and let's begin. So our agenda is the following. You can see it on the screen, but basically here's what we are going to cover. First, we're going to review our recent update for Android, which is 2.6, which brings new design updates for the wallet features. Then we're going to briefly talk about Hotfix for runtime update for both iOS and Android and why it was necessary to kind of rush it up. After that, we're going to cover the whole point of our design improvements, why we're doing this right now, and what are the benefits for the application and for the users. Then we're going to touch base on something new, which is beacon integration. That is what we were working for, like, I think it's almost maybe a year now. But yeah, we will discuss and talk about it also in the demo. Traditionally, we will also add new networks and review networks which we have added like last week. And of course, in the end of the presentation, we will review the roadmap and talk about the priorities. So let's start. Before we will dive into the demo itself, here's our social links. Feel free to visit our website, Telegram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. By the way, we finally managed to have a nice name here. So now it's youtube.com/nowallet. And yeah, so follow for any use in our social media. And let's proceed. So Wallet Features 2.6 release. Right now, that is available on Google Play for Android, and we are planning to deliver it on the App Store probably next week. But the whole point of that update was basically to introduce some improvements and fixes, as well as the new features for the design update. So now Android users can see the new update for the send flow, which means that the new screen and the overall flow has been changed, and we will review it. Also, the new design for the transaction details, which you can kind of see on this right side here. New icons for operation history, and for the fixes and improvements, we have improved how we display the Canaria NFTs in the application, and also improved the staking rewards calculation. Yeah, so that update is available on the Google Play. Now, regarding the design updates themselves, you can see how the send flow was looking like on the left side. So before, it was kind of the flow consisting from actually 3 screens, but we will review 2 of them. The first one was requiring the users to enter the address or kind of the account name. That logic with kind of the contacts on that screen was not yet merged to the new version of No Wallet. So that was kind of, that screen and the flow itself was looking a bit redundant. So we decided to basically merge the step for entering the recipient, either by copy pasting the address or scanning the QR flow or selecting from the contacts list to the one screen, right? So you can see that previously it was the combination of 2 steps, one for the selecting the address and the second one to selecting the amount, right? And now you can see that basically those screens are merged all together. And basically the screen size and the screen spacing almost the same with the last one. So we basically improved the UX by reducing the redundant step in that flow. Nice thing which we also did is a bit more directed to the user friendliness of the application. So now it's implicitly saying that sending Kusama on which network, and we did it not just for doing so, but also to prepare the application for upcoming cross-chain transfers, which you can kind of see it on the second screen. So in the future, once we will integrate the cross-chain transfers, that screen will contain also the logic to select or switch between on-chain transfers or cross-chain transfers, and again, explaining user what's going on, because cross-chain transfers themselves are pretty much complex, right, for the regular user. So we need to work on simplicity, how to present this information for our users, basically. So yeah, that's how we updated the send flow. it's much more simpler, clean, and straightforward. Now, we also updated the transaction details and operation history for the wallet with our design updates. So on the right side, you can see like comparison with old and new transaction history. It's almost remained the same. We just improved user elements. So now the icons are more fitting the no wallet brand. Also, the date is now just the hours because you always had this date in the header of the grouping, let's say. So yeah, just a nice touch for operation history to fit the no wallet brand. And on the left side of the slide, you can see that how we updated the transaction details. And that actually what we will do in a lot of the places in the application, because before you could see lots of the screens like that. We call it black table screen because all information is basically a table here and everything is black. So it's not really nice for the users. So we decided to address that. So talking to the transaction details, let's see what's going on. So you can see that now the most important and the most useful information for the users are now on the top of the screen. So we can see the date of the transaction, the icon representing the operation, which is income transfer, right? The amount, which like takes a lot of space for the screens to be like in the center of the screen, and also the status. So in the most cases, that would be enough for the user to understand kind of what's going on for that operation. But also below, we have this structured information now, basically the details. So who was the sender of that transfer to the user, what network it was, and also what were the transaction fees. Next block would include the recipient, which is basically in this case, the user's account. And on the last point is the transaction ID. And all of these are clickable, so you can always copy the data, visit in Subscan, Polkascan, Sub ID, or any Explorer which no wallet supports, right? So it's now more, it makes sense now. It's more user-friendly for the user, right? And also we have this opportunity to kind of send a transfer to this contract. So in this case, it will send back some funds to the sender which user would like to send. So yeah, that was already available on Android in terms of the design updates. And we will also touch base on what's coming further in the case of the design updates. Any questions so far? Or suggestions how we can improve further those screens? But I will slowly go for the next topic. Feel free to add it to the chat. Yeah, I agree, Cole. The next topic is hotfix for runtime update. So basically this week, I believe it's either today or Monday, but on the Kusama and on Polkadot, there will be some breaking changes in how crowd loan logic is operated on the blockchain level, right? So we had to rush with a hotfix for our no wallet so that our users will not experience any crashes or instabilities in the work, right? So the main point was to support the new logic for the crowd loans. That's why we have now the crowd loan screen here. But in addition to that, we also push some fixes which we received from the community. For example, on Android, the Rate Us button is now properly working. So it's leading to the Google Play page where you can leave the feedback, tap on 5 stars for us, and so on. And we also improved the total staking rewards calculation. So there were some issues which we fixed basically. And that update is available on both App Store and Google Play. So make sure to update your application so that you will experience no issues with the crowd loans features. Right, and let's come back for the design updates. Now you can see that we're applying what I discussed previously, and we're also introducing some nice user interface elements just to provide a bit more simplicity and attractiveness to our screens, right? So before, the changing validators were mostly black, like in a dark colors and so on. The controller account was pretty much complex because it was not explaining what is controller account and what is for. And we're also redesigning the staking main page just to minimize the amount of the clicks or taps from the user to achieve certain action. For example, we decided to move the whole menu on the main screen, like to stake more, unstake, and so on. That screen is scrollable, so it's fine for the user to basically scroll a little to receive, to access the Your Validators feature, for example. But overall, we're applying new updates to make app look nicer and more user-friendly. So that's the whole point of the design improvements, as well as that it's the final part of our Kusama Treasury proposal, so that once we'll finish updating all the screens of the application, we can proceed to the next Kusama Treasury proposal. So yeah, you can see the preview of how we'll know what will look like in upcoming updates. In most of the cases, those are not bringing new features. That's just changes in the user interface. But we are also collecting the feedback. I know that Cole is dreaming about staking calculator. So that such features are on our list, and we're planning to include them in our next Kusama Treasury proposal just to deliver it to the application. Right, the beacon integration. So the whole story about it, that I think it was a year ago when Gem is one of the console for Kusama network, has opened the bounty for the mobile signer solution in the ecosystem. And mobile signer solution is something that you probably approach in other ecosystems. Like one of the most popular solution is a Wallet Connect. That allows you basically to connect your phone to any of the applications that opened on your desktop. And that allows you to perform the operations on your desktop and then send the signing itself to your phone. So you do not store your keys on your desktop, but you store it in your mobile wallet and you perform operations on your desktop. So why are we even working for it? So first of all, that improves the state of applications in the ecosystem, because all outcomes in the Kusama bounty for mobile signers will be open sourced. So any other application can basically extract the artifacts which will produce from that bounty, right? So that's the one point. The second point, even if we have the DApp browser, still there are some DApps in the ecosystem which are not really mobile friendly to be used from the no wallet browser, right? So that will help us to address that specific point, right? So imagine using some DApp like I think it's Skilled or Karura, which is not yet mobile friendly, right? And that would be possible to now use in the combination of no wallet and the desktop. And also it addresses the user experience for those users who prefer to use the desktop for basically doing all operations, but they would like to store their keys and manage their accounts in a mobile format. So yeah, that's something what we were slowly working on for almost a year. We have finished the proof of concept together with the Beacon team, and now we're approaching the milestone in which we will push it to the so-called production, right? So yeah, we will keep you updated on the progress, but there is a good results already achieved in this area. And let's now go to the new network section. So last week we have added 5 new networks, which are the Interlay, Efinity, HydraDX, Centrifuge, and Integritee, which is version of Kusama parachain, because they also have a standalone network. Now, some of these networks, like Interlay, already have tons of the features. You can see that Interlay supports multiple tokens, and you can see it in no wallet. You can manage all your tokens of the Interlay in no wallet, like KeyBTC, IntBTC, and others. And yeah, now it's on the parachain side for example, crowd loan distribution, crowd loan reward distribution. So once they will do that, you will see all the rewards right in your no wallet for those networks. And today we're actually going to add the nodal network, which is also the Polkadot parachain. So the process will be the usual. We will head to our GitHub repository and basically merge the changes which we already tested in our internal build and development environment. So let's see, we'll promote the nodal network. We can see that the team already approved it for both Android and iOS, so we can safely merge that. And I will remind you that it usually takes like 5 minutes for GitHub to update the storage. And in 5 minutes, we'll go and check if no wallet handled the addition of nodal network. But let's quickly recap what networks we already support in no wallet. And if we will take a look for the Kusama parachains, most of them are integrated in no wallet successfully. So the only ones which are not integrated are either not launched yet at the parachains, or like in terms of the Genscher, we require to implement some custom logic support. So we will discuss with the Genscher team how we should approach it. But yeah, you can see that 24 Kusama parachains can be accessed from the no wallet. And in some of the cases, like in case of the Karura, Bifrost, Moonriver, those networks contains lots of the assets to be managed. And all of them are supported in no wallet. As for the Polkadot parachains, 11 of the Polkadot parachains are now supported in no wallet, well, including the nodal which we just added. And we're still waiting for 2 of them to be launched and to produce the blocks. And that brings us to 40 Polkadot networks supported in no wallet. And you can see this nice picture representing all of this. So that's a pretty much huge achievement for both ecosystem and our application, because that's a lot of networks to be running in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem overall. So yeah, that's a great milestone. Now let's quickly recap for the plans and the roadmap. So as I already mentioned, we are approaching the completion of our Kusama Treasury proposal, which means that we need to finish our design improvements, which we promised to the community and Kusama Councillors. And we also will make this nice report for the community and Councillors, what we did for this. I think it's almost 4 months, which we basically were working on that proposal. After that, we are planning to switch to our grant to Moonbeam Foundation. And basically that meaning that we will start to implement EVM DApps support on Android so that we can use all these DApps which are EVM based from the Android application like Moonbeam, Moonriver, Solarbeam, and so on. And after that, we will work on forging Moonriver Glimmer staking right into the no wallet, as well as some of the cross-chain transfers features. In the parallel, we will prepare and submit the new proposal for the Kusama Treasury, which will most likely also address cross-chain features, cold wallets, watch mode, and NFT improvements as well. So we're still trying to form the scope for that proposal, so stay tuned for the news. And of course, in the meantime, we are still exploring the parachain features like DEXs, NFTs, marketplaces, and so on to be integrated with into the no wallet. And we are in the communication with all the parachain teams in the ecosystem. So we are working on like prioritizing the roadmap for the no wallet features. So yeah, I think that's it from our side. Any questions so far? Great. Well, we were fast today. We have 7 minutes more, but I think we can close today on that. I hope that you enjoyed this demo and have a good day. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.